Now then guys, it's Joe, All Leeds TV. I'm here with Foxy, just chewing the fat really about, you know, ahead of Friday's game, talking a bit of football and just see what we expect from Friday.
You've had a good start your season, buddy. You know, where are you? You're optimistic, or as we were just talking off camera, Leeds had a blinding start last year, 7 unbeaten, I think it was, wasn't it? So obviously this is a big one to bother for both of us.
I think the difference from last year compared to this, I think the calibre of teams we've played so far compared to last year. I remember the Burton game, we dicked them 5-0. We came off saying, you know, oh, we're unreal, and really they're not a decent barometer. And now, you know, we battered Stoke 3-1. We're putting 4 past
Derby away was a kind of result that everyone looked at, because Lampard's one for me as well. I rate Lampard. I think they'll do well, but that was an head turner straight away, Joe.
And then obviously
Stoke, like you said, another one.
And then we battered Norwich 3-0 away from home, which they'd not had a great start, but when you put it in context, you think about the West
scoring
Brom
goals,
game, it was like 4-3, 7 goals, and we put 3 past them, and they didn't have a
bat an eyelid, did they?
So
I think probably the only game you've had where you've looked as if you're in trouble or you've shown a bit of grit and determination was maybe the Swansea away. But again, as you've just said, you've played 3 teams there already that I think most people out there, without taking like your own Boro into this, guys, that would be in that top 6 this season. And you've done well. Swansea showed me that you were 2-0 down, but you'll graft and you'll fight and you show character.
That's the thing, I think.
Away as well.
Away from home, and obviously, for me, last year or previous seasons, we lose that game. Our heads go. The fact that we've put in the fight has made the changes. The lads have come on, they've done a job, and we've come away from there.
Bamford, for one, as much as people are there to hear it, you know, but it's true. That's what we've let go.
I mean, it was decent play on the left hand side for him to get that ball across to Hernandez, and that's the difference for me. You know, last year we'd have lost that game, and come the end of the season, I think Barry Douglas came out and said it, and he's just, you know, although
good signing him,
he's not spent no time in the Prem with Wolves, but he's been promoted, and he said come the end of the season that could be a massive point.
I would agree with that.
You know what I mean? I'm happy with the start.
I would agree. I mean, for us, as we were talking there again, like, I mean, dodgy start at Millwall, but then similar to you with Swansea, where we were losing, we weren't in a game, we've come back from the dead, and the season's kind of kicked on. But in a funny type of way, what you're saying there is kind of a reflection of where I feel we're at this year, where yes, we played Bristol City, and yes, we played Sheffield United, Birmingham. West Brom game obviously last week, you know, was the first real challenge, I feel. But Sheffield United, Bristol City certainly weren't the teams that were last year.
That was a surprise for me, like the Sheffield United one, like when you bad them,
they kind of rolled over.
It's just they're different team, man.
It seems to me, Joe, like it's slightly. We started that game the way we finished the Millwall game, and we needed a result in that. We needed to come out of the blocks in that game, and we did. And he had them G'd up, and they must have worked on that, especially like I say, with leaving it so late against Millwall. And we came out and we battered them for half an hour. The game, like I say, though, they had chances in the second half, as you would imagine. A lot of big balls in the box. Leon Clark missed a couple of sitters, I think, and that might have made it a bit different. But as we were talking there, football results don't always give you the context of what's actually gone on in the game. And you know, Swansea looked good against you for 60, 70 minutes. Millwall looked good against us for 60, 70 minutes. We still get the result. So it shows us fighting spirit in there amongst people that maybe last season, you know, your Alioski's your size. Hernandez, who's already this season for me, nearly scored more than he scored last season. And his assists, I think he got, what, 7 goals and 8 assists last year. So he's already on, what, 3 and 2, I think, or something like that, is it? 2 and 3, or...
Hernandez has scored 2, I think.
And he's got a couple of assists as well. He's started all blinder, hasn't he?
You see the difference, that's a thing with our squad. There's only Berardi and the keeper who's not been involved in a goal this
Which
year.
says a lot.
Do you know what I mean?
You know, we're going to move on. I know we're going to get onto that about where your goal threats come from, which you've kind of touched on, is everywhere for me. But, you know, my point is the way we've started the season, like you were saying there, is that I don't think this game now, this is the test, as we were saying, and this is the game where it's come at a funny time, because any Boro fan would hold their hand up and say we didn't think we'd be in this position after the Millwall game. As we say, Sheffield United, we came out and battered him, but it wasn't the same team as last year. Bristol City, we've gone there and got a really good result and played really well. But again, it wasn't the same team. You know, obviously they've lost Bobby Reid. You know,
Wainman's doing all right.
He's doing. He's still got Patterson there, and you know they are a good team. But when you talk to Bristol City fans, they're kind of up and down with what they feel about Lee Johnson. I rate the guy, and he hasn't had much money to spend either. But it's kind of funny how we're at this point and you're at that point, because we could have quite easily carried on where we were after Millwall, and after Pulis coming out and saying the team's not good enough, and we could have had no points by now. So what we've done in the last month though is we've become really organised, we've become really industrious, and we are putting some good stuff together.
Just to touch on your performance, I was listening to a podcast the other day, to be fair. Don Matteo was a guest on the podcast, and he worked with Pulis at Stoke when they were in the Championship. And he said the one thing, he'll adapt the team based on the opponent, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's one thing you'll say for Pulis, is he knows what he's doing.
Yeah, he's kind of using what he's got to the best of its ability. I mean, we are a very direct team, but not in the sense of just playing long balls. Last season we were very direct. The fact that we had Traore, as you know, with the game at home, you would just carry the ball, and that's the kind of direct play, and everyone would catch him up, and something would happen. This season we're more direct in the sense that if we can play a quick ball and get up there, we don't mess about playing tippy-tappy football. Whereas you guys play a lot of possession football, and it works for you, because you've got a lot of movement, and we will get onto that. And as we just talked there slightly about Hernandez, Size, Alioski, and Klitsch in there. There's a lot of movement with Calvin.
Even Roof, you won't see him central all the time.
He's moving his channels, and then you've got Calvin Phillips, who's doing all the dirty work. Who's doing like what we said earlier about, again off camera guys, about Clayton for us this season, who looked like he was dead and merry. He's come through and now he's a Lynchman. So for you guys there, I mean, your movement's brilliant from what I've seen. You've got a lot going on around in the middle of the park, out wide with the two fullbacks, Ailing and Douglas. But for us, we're very much get it out wide, get it up quickly, and get balls in the box. And that's been working for us. I know we were talking about Braithwaite, for example, has been our best player this season. You could argue, as Rob was saying earlier, about he could be the best player in this league. So at the moment, I don't know if I agree with that, because I really do rate Size. As I said that last season, he was a coup in a way. A lot of Premier League comes onto him in Spain. But I think that we've got a relationship in Shotton, Braithwaite and Assam longer at the moment, where things are linking and working, and a lot of our danger comes from that side.
See, that would be the one thing that I think Leeds fans...
And obviously set pieces as well, which we're key on, which, as we found in the World Cup, it's essential.
Yeah, I mean, that's the one worry, I think, at centre-back for us, because Cooper has been injured, but he should be back for the game on Friday. Now, Berardi's been absolutely immense.
So do you think Janssen will come out then?
Well, that's the thing. I think for me,
or would you leave Pontus Janssen? Would you leave him in?
I'd take Berardi out because of the height thing, but whether or not Bielsa will, because he's very much like you mentioned off camera about Pulis. If guys are doing well, regardless of the opposition, he's going to keep them in there. You know
what? I like that though as a manager, because I think we've had that a little bit though, where Tav's won for us, and we talk about him quite a lot. And last season he made his debut at Bournemouth away. He came on, he started, he scored. He then played in the Sunderland game on the Sunday. He scored the only goal. He had a brilliant performance. They shipped him out on loan to MK Dons, I think it was, or Wimbledon. It was MK Dons, and it's kind of like Wings, another one this season who started well for us, but he's backed off him a little bit in big games like West Brom.
I've heard a lot about him, to be fair, because like I say, I tune into the channel, you know what I mean, it is what it is. I like to watch a lot.
Aren't we? We're football fans.
I like to watch a lot of fan channels, and I've heard a lot about this wing. I've not seen him, I'm not going to say I watch all the games, but I've heard a lot about him, to be fair, and people asking for him to start. So.
We scored a lot of goals at Shildon. I think he scored 50 goals in the season, something like that. Which
come out of nowhere, right?
Yeah, he has. And he is a real talent. He's one of these guys that can cross from anywhere, although his crossing hasn't been the best in the last few weeks. I've got to be honest, but he's one of them that there's potential there to work with. You know, he could be a real fan. He reminds me a little bit of an Adam Johnson in a way when he was really on it. The way he moves and the way he puts balls in, set piece taker, which for us is clinical, but as we're saying there, I mean. Yes, Pulis does like to keep faith, and so does Biasler, as you said. I mean, that's something that you probably haven't had as a Leeds fan for a long time, is somebody pick a team and stick with it. I mean, you know, as we were talking again there, I like what your chairman's doing, because he's not happy to change it. He's not happy to change it. And now, you don't know, when I don't know Saturday, that Biasler's going to get it right this season. Looks as if he has. Pep Guardiola's mentor, he's been Argentina manager, he's got real good stock, this guy. He's played what? Has he played a 3-3, 1-3-3, or
he plays all sorts.
1-3-4-2. He changes it around a lot. And then, like you were saying there, the only person who hasn't scored,
who hasn't been involved in the
goal is keeper and Berardi, which tells you a lot. I don't think that's the same for us. Well, I know it isn't, but the kind of the comparisons for me are that we both use full-backs a lot.
Yeah,
we both like full-backs to get up. We both press high. I think tomorrow, what'll happen is we'll be on the back foot slightly. I know we're going to go through the teams in a minute and have a little chat about sort of
we expect to play.
We expect to play and sort of man-to-man sort of who's up for it challenges and V's. Yeah. That makes sense. But we know we know that we are a counter-attacking team. I see a lot, and I think that what I've seen with you lot is you are a counter-attacking team as well to a point, but if you can't use that option, everything comes from Hernandez. He likes to come deep and pick the ball up, doesn't he? And he likes to try and move forward with it.
For us, I think I mean, just looking at it from a Boro's perspective and from Pulis, I think you can take a lot from the game on Tuesday night against Preston, because what happened there, they
didn't out really, though, did you? You had a lot of possession, didn't you?
Well, that's the thing. You see, early doors, they pressed us from the off, and because we had lads in there that aren't regular starters, they made mistakes. We gave away a pen. So you can take from that, like Pulis might take from that. Right, that's what we need to do. We need to get at them. But I think when you add in Ayling, Douglas, Pontus, Cooper, the better ball players than what we had. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, a lot of your team now
is they want the ball to the feet.
100%.
And now you've got, as you said there, you've got movement everywhere.
Yeah.
And if it isn't Douglas and Ayling pressing and getting forward, then you've got Size, Alioski, Klitsch. You've got people in the middle who I mean, like I say, I watch me stuff because there's no point having a conversation with someone if you don't know what you're talking about. And you're into play around the edge of the box. Some of that I've been calling out for as a Boro fan for a while. I want to see football played. And as much as I'm positive and I'm behind them this season, last season when Pulis came in, I kind of said what would happen, and I was right, although I'm not happy, but we got to the big games and we didn't have anything in the locker. And I want to see football played. I'm a purist, and I don't know why Bournemouth, Watford, for example, teams that go playing football, Wolves, as we say, but spent a lot of money. Swansea, playing football, that's what it's all about. It gets you excited watching the move.
Exactly.
I know, people say it's all about results, but it is to a point, but if it was the why turn up, you could just tune in to see facts. I mean, you want to see stuff happening, Joe.
Like,
and you have got that this season.
Yeah, at the minute.
You must be entertained as a crowd.
It's so refreshing. Like, I'm so excited for tomorrow. Just going to the football games now, it's just...
You got your buzz back?
Yeah, 100%.
Because you weren't that far off last year.
No, well, we finished 13th.
You did, but I mean, the table itself, a lot of things happened in about a month.
Heckingbottom was fucking terrible.
We was, and you know what the funny thing about that is, Leeds fans, is we went to do one at Barnsley, didn't we, Rob? And we talked to the two Barnsley lads from Barnes TV, and they said, look, yeah, he's one of these managers that's he's done all right with us, he's good at home games, but, he's gone to Leeds and it was just a job too big for him. Yeah. Maybe as well, it was a little bit like, he had a big squad, and you didn't have money to spend, but he had more to deal with than Barnsley. And I think that was like Monk when he left you, where you didn't have much happening then. Yeah. Monk came and he had money to spend, and he wasted it. He wasted it, whereas he's gone to Birmingham, and I know I'll be in a minority of Boro fans, and they're playing some brilliant football. The fact that they haven't won games this season is down to their poor finishing. Magoma and Bogle, or Boggle, or whatever you want to call it, whatever that game is that you used to play as a kid. Boggle. And Shea Adams. They look really good, so I don't know whether Monk was somebody that can work with in a small squad. But I know, and I know
I think for Heckingbottom, it just came far too early. He might go on to do really good things, do you know what I mean? But
there's potential there. I think there's a big thing between coaches and managers as well, and I think he's a good coach, Heckingbottom. He's good on the training ground for what he is, and so's Monk.
I mean, look at Heckingbottom. I mean, he bought Stones through, didn't he, and Alfie Mawson, so he's obviously got summer, but it just wasn't the right time for him at Leeds. But like I say, at the minute, I mean, just to give you a bit of insight, you might know, but Bielsa, for example, he had the guys, he worked out how long
takes to buy a ticket. We talked about this, didn't we? Yeah. And you tell the story, because it's a quality story.
Basically, he'd found out what's the average time it would take for a guy, to do the work in order to
your average working man going to a game.
Yeah, to be able to afford to get to a game, and it were 3 hours. So he had the guys at Fort Parch picking litter for 3 hours. Do you know what I mean? And Norwich as well. The weekend just gone, he had all the coaching staff go back out and clean the dugouts. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, do you know that for me? I kind of think that's the same. You know what? like I say, we know he's Pep Guardiola's mentor. And Pep Guardiola talks about when he goes to any club, how he knows the name of even the canteen ladies' kids. Yeah. Because as far as he's concerned, and I'm a big believer in this, Joe, that it's all about positivity. And I'm not going to go off track here, but that's why Leicester won the league. Because a bunch of players bought into an atmosphere who love turning up every day, who just buzz playing with each other. And the psychology of it all kicked in. And they outplayed themselves.
Well, look at the scum now.
Completely, completely. No, they've got a world-beating squad, but his attitude stinks, and they don't want to play for him.
Nah,
now, you saying that with Beasley there, I mean, obviously the Leeds fans, no matter what your results would have been, that would have indeed it to all Leeds fans anyway. 100%. But it's all about that whole synergy of everybody down to the last man, pulling in the right direction, and just to go and do that. No, whoever you are in that, whatever car you're driving, however much money you're on in that Leeds United squad, you'd have been a point where you thought, I'm going back home to my mansion, but this is garbage, as if I have to do this every day.
Brings them back down to earth.
Yeah,
you know
which there needs to be, because they're only footballers at the end of the day. There's too much convolutedness and hierarchy we've been able to get the players and talk to them. They're not royalty.
No, exactly.
Like Rob said a while ago, we were talking about this with. We won't talk about it because I'm not allowed to, but certain Boro players and stuff and attitudes that we've had with talking to Boro players and stuff like that, where they don't want to, when they're kind of looking at it as if, like, who are you, sort of thing, which is poor. We won't go into that. I know I can't, Rob. Rob's looking at me. I'm not allowed to talk about it. But we're a working class team, a working class club like you guys are. No airs and graces. No airs and graces. And we want all our players, managers, we want everyone. That's what we like about Pulis, to be down to earth and talk to us and tell us what's going on and let us ask you them questions. But, you know, it seems like you're an open book now with Biazzi. You're an open book, and you know, there's no one in that squad. As you were saying, there's people who he will keep faith with. And we'll talk about the teams now. But he's not big enough to not drop anyone.
Yeah, well, look at Calvin Phillips against Swansea. He brought him off after 25, 26 minutes.
Big player to take off.
Yeah, and that was his 100th appearance as well.
Which is massive.
So, you can well, it looked like, to be fair, on Sky, it looked like he was going to cry. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, genuinely. But then the next
performance, what you want.
Yeah, the next performance against Norwich. He was unreal.
Yeah, and that was that's a tough place to go and score 3.
Yeah. I
know the minus Madison, who was brilliant. I mean, let's have a little chat about what we think the lineup's going to be tomorrow. So, I'll say to you now, we've already sort of had a little chat about this, but we know our Boro team's going to pretty much be 5-3-2. The same team that started West Brom, as you said there with Beasley. Pulis keeps faith in people. You're going to talk about Message, which you will, but we know it's going to be Ayala, Fry, Flint, Shotton Friend, whatever you want. Clayton Howson, Downing, and then we're going to have Braithwaite, and we're going to have a Sombelonger up front, and whatever the bench is it is what it is. But
we'll see. I know we touched on it before, and I just want to get it out there because I know a lot of people will probably be thinking the same as me. With Braithwaite now saying that he wants to go, does that mean he plays?
Yeah, he'll play, Joe, because that's nothing. He said that since January, and obviously he went and he came back, and he's not happy for whatever reason, you know. But he's had a blinding start to the season.
If he's still here tomorrow.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, like I say, we've talked stuff as we were doing before we've come on camera. And Joe mentioned Besic, and obviously he's a good coop for us. I know you guys wanted him too.
100%. You know when the deal fell through on deadline day, I thought we're going to get him on loan now.
You know what? It was in a U-All Villa.
Yeah. So,
you know? And
then when you managed to get it back, I thought, oh, fair play. Then
well,
you know what I mean?
That for me as a Boro fan, I know Rob will agree, was one of them signings where if we hadn't brought him back in and he didn't come to us and he went to another Championship club over us, then there's warning signs in our club because he's played for us for 6 months now, more or less. He's enjoyed what he's done, and then he's had a chance. We've scraped into the playoffs for me, and then we didn't do that when we got there. He's had a taste of that, and I would have worried a lot then. So the fact that we have got him shows me a little bit of faith that there is stuff that we're doing right behind the scenes.
You're doing bits now as well, right? So
and he's a really talented player. Although, I mean, McNair started the other night, didn't he, against Rochdale? And McNair looks good, and I don't know whether it was the player we need. I would rather have had a striker in over Besic, but if we get a couple of attacking players in today and tomorrow, Puncheon being one of them, then, you know, and obviously the business we've done with McQueen,
well, do you reckon he'll play over Friend then? Is it? Or where's he going to play?
I don't think so, no. I think, as we said, I think there's no need for Pulis to go, you're not playing, George. But it's one of them key areas as we're going to talk about that's kind of we've said it a lot. He's brilliant, George. He's been a great servant, but
splits opinion, right?
He's a weakness.
Sometimes people say he's shite, and then other times he'll come good. Do you know what I mean?
You were mentioning there about your team being ball players. We aren't really that at the back. I think Ayala can't really string a pass together. Flint can, and Fry can.
Ayala, anyway, we can't stand that, man.
Well, you know what?
Just had to go out there.
He's been brilliant the last 6 months. I can't say he hasn't with the partnership he formed with Gibson. Obviously, Gibson's gone. But he's not. You can't watch him at Bournemouth away last year, and I just could not understand why you can't pass 2 yards. But I think he could pass water that far either. But the thing is, to me, is we do look to get it out wide and get it up the pitch quickly, because that's how we play. And Frendy's been a pivotal part of that this season, but he does get caught out a lot and he hasn't got the pace to get back, and he can't cover him. The other night against West Brom, we found that out when Dwight Gale had a one-on-one to a point. And shot just to say nearly got back. I think Flint covered him, but it was kind of, there was your weakness. But
and we're gonna, so
you know, he's going to have Douglas peppering him, isn't he?
Yeah,
you know,
and Ayling, depending on which side, like, Ayling gets forward all the time.
And he looks good. And Saiz, Alioski, you know, he's going to have Klitsch on his case, you know, and Andes, as we've mentioned.
Did you see that ball for Norwich, the ball he played to Alioski?
And Andes.
Yeah.
Honestly, mate, as a football person, and you know, Boro fans may get at me with this, but let's just be straight here, guys. You've got to recognise a player when you see one. And I hate someone else that works for us who's just going to slag people off. I'm a football man, and he's impressed me a lot. And he's been here a while now, only 3 or 4 seasons.
Monk brought him in.
And Monk, and he hasn't looked as good as he looks right now.
To be fair, he could have gone on a free transfer. There was noise that Birmingham, you know what I mean? And we were going to let his deal run out, which is mental. But he's just been unreal, man, and he just goes about it. There's a funny quote actually after the Norwich game. They'd said, they'd asked Bielsa, Philly, our chief reporter, he'd basically said, how can you make Hernandez better as a player? And he turned round and said, Hernandez makes me a better coach.
See, that's great.
And he's managed what? Nearly everyone. Yeah. Crespo, Batistuta, all these people.
But he's one of them players to me that he's like. He's been around a while. He's 33, I think, isn't he?
He's getting on.
But the age doesn't see that. He's kind of, as he's grown and got better.
As well, because he's not one of them that's going to like jink on and take people on. He just seems to always be in space
and play the right ball.
Play the right ball. His decision making second.
And he's one of them people for me as well that he doesn't need much time to make the right decision.
No.
He doesn't need much space to make the right decision, which is important. Play where he plays. I mean, that brings us on to a key battle for me, really, because tomorrow, you know, we're going to have Howson, we're going to have Clayton in the middle there, and down into a point.
Going to see Howson at Boro.
No, I bet it is. But I mean, he's been brilliant for us this year.
Man, you know what I mean? So it's same with Clayton though. Like, even when Clayton was sold for pittance to Huddersfield, I really liked him. Do you know what I mean?
But he's brilliant at Huddersfield as well.
Yeah, when there were noise that we might possibly get
him back.
You know what I mean? Either him or Howson, I'd have loved them both back, to be fair.
Well, Boro fans haven't really had a true reflection of Howson or Clayton, I don't think, because Howson was captain at Leeds and Norwich, and you don't get to be a captain if you're garbage. And you know, you can be club captain, anyone can do that, as long as you're old enough and you've got an head on you. You know, I think club captain's almost like one of them, you know, where you're trying to give somebody who thinks he's the best just a job to do when he's not that good. You know, where really, what does a club captain do? What's he do? But you know, I get why it's there. It's the pros, the old pros, to link with the manager and the assistant, and it's
Bielsa said when they mentioned about the captaincy, he said, "Oh, the players will decide."
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. You see, I'm not a big believer in you just have to pick one. You need 11. You know, and there's anyone at any time. Pep Guardiola says that he could pick a different captain every week if he wanted to.
I think what it is because us as English football fans,
we're so used to having a Terry Butcher or
we even think of like your Roy Keanes, your Patrick Vieira's. They were vital cogs. You know what I mean? Even Shearer at Newcastle. Do you know what I mean? But that's not around anymore.
No, that old school way is gone.
Cantona at Scum as well when he's captain for us.
Yeah, you know
them sort of ilk of players for me.
Gerrard,
they're not around no more, I don't think.
I mean, I think the battle tomorrow is going to be one in the middle of the park for me, because I think that we might cancel each other out wide, and I think then it comes down to the movement of your Alioski size and Klitsch and Hernandez, of whether Clayton down in, or whether Friend, or whether Shotton can deal with all that. As we've mentioned there, Kamaru's going to be making runs everywhere. I think Flint could maybe have him in his pocket, but Flint ain't got the pace. But he's clever enough to find. He's clever enough with how he spaces himself, Flint. But I think it's whether we can pick up those two. And I know we talked about it again earlier, is that For me, I think we've got a couple of ways of scoring. For you, I think you've got a lot of ways of scoring.
Yeah, the goals are spread all over. Do you know what I mean? And
key battle is centre mid.
Is it written that fucking Bamford comes off the bench and
possibly because that's football to win it, and he's got a way kicking you in the bum. But
what would you reckon he'd celebrate? I think he would.
I think he would, because I don't feel as if he has that much of an affiliation with us. I feel as if he thinks fans have turned on him slightly, which I don't think's a true reflection of what we thought about him, because I rated him as a player, and I thought he was an intelligent striker. I thought he had everything, and I thought he proved that last year with every type of finish. But for whatever reason, he ain't fancied. And we kind of got a gist of that last year, Joe, against Villa, didn't we? When the minute he had a chance to bring Gusted on, he moved Bamford out wide and he brought Gusted on to do out. But I won't get bogged down on that. But yeah, I think if we can stop Hernandez being a link man, and we can stop Size and Alioski's space, cut the space out with the press, which we've been good at, then I think we could easily get a point there, we could nick a goal, because we could, like we showed against West Brom, we can nick a goal off a set piece.
I think...
or it'll end up 4-0, as much as I hate to say it, if you guys turn up.
Yeah, the one thing that I lean toward is just your record at Ellen Road as well. It's not the...
No, it isn't. You know what, I'm not really a big person with that type of stuff, but I do believe there are grounds that you do better at. You know, and obviously it's going to be a sellout.
The fans are going to be on top.
Fans are going to be on top, and the atmosphere is going to dictate how the play starts, I think, because it'll be electric. But I don't think we're going to go there to sit back. I think he knows that we have to go and pressure.
I think you have to.
We have to, as you said about Preston.
Anyone that tries to play football against us, I think we'd be comfortably have said that.
I would agree with that right now. I don't know what players we're going to bring in Boro fans right now, because we're doing this, you know, when we're doing it. And, you know, I think we're maybe 2 or 3 players short of having a really good squad that will compete with anyone in this league. But if you play football against us, I think it'll all be about how you set up, and you'll dictate the play. And it's whether we can be industrious and hold on and maybe get something. But I think if it's a scrappy game, and I think if it's a game where we can break play up and win a lot of second balls, Joe, which is something we've been immaculate at this season, then I think the game's going to the wire, and it could it could be anything tight. You know, I would hope as a Boro fan that we can get at least a point there, because I think, and the other thing that I want to just quickly touch on it, and I don't know whether you want to
just to jump on that. I was said to you off camera, like the one manager that is going to be hard for us to come up against in that division for me would be Tony Pulis. Do you know what I mean? He's going to set up to not get beat. He's going to press. You know, you'll defend mint. Do you know what I mean?
So do you think so? Then do you think then that we're probably the only team in the league doing what we're doing, and you're maybe the only team with Swansea maybe and a couple of other teams that are trying to play football out of this division instead of just trying to battle your way out?
If you look at our results, for example, like we battered Stoke, we battered Derby, and then
you look brilliant against Norwich. I've got to be honest. I know the other two were good ones, but the Norwich game for me was like everything coming together.
The one game where we struggled was Rotherham.
You know
what I mean? We still got away with a 2-0 win, but they could have been 2-0 up.
Yeah, I saw that.
Post. They had a few chances early doors and I said after that game in my video, they're the sort of teams that are going to cause us problems.
Which is what we're a super hyped version of.
You are the best at that.
We're them on roids, basically. So I mean, you know, and that's not being a disservice to our team, guys.
It's just how you set up.
It's how we set up. And I think all Boro fans, being true and realistic, would honestly say that yes, we're not the prettiest team to watch, although we do string some good football together. But getting out of this league isn't about us playing football. It's about us battling our way out, being industrious and being organised, and see what comes from that. And then Rob will tell you, a lot of these games this season we still sit back, don't we? We'll go 3-0 up and we'll sit back. Sheffield United, as we mentioned, and we'll sit back, and like I say, that could have been a different landscape, that game. So I just think right now, we said before, it's like the immovable object meets the immovable force, where you guys are flying, playing what you played, playing how you played, with a brand new buzz about you. We're still trying to find our team, if you like, because Pulis has made it clear that he wants new players in, and we'd all agree with that. So this result tomorrow, it might not mean out with the season when it comes to another 6 months gone, because we're playing each other at the right time, where if one of us gets pummeled or it's a draw, whatever it is, there's still time in the transfer window to still dig back stuff. And as we all know, people come from the dead in this league and go.
I think Christmas is the big one.
Christmas is key.
There or thereabouts.
And I think we play you again around that time.
I'm not sure, to be fair, when they return.
I'm not, but I'm sure it's around January we play you. But you know, so this is a game for me where we'll take ultimate confidence out of, or we'll get nothing, we'll let it ruin us, and our season will start the second half before it's even started, when it started so well. So I'd like to think no matter what the result is, we walk away with some positivity.
For me, like, obviously you want to win every game, but ultimately I just want to still go into the international break undefeated.
Yeah, and I do too.
I'm not saying I want... That makes it sound like I want a point, because I do think we will win.
Yeah. I can see where you're coming from.
If they give me now, you're going to remain unbeaten, I would take it, do you know what I mean?
And I would, and I think I would quite happily take a score draw, because and that you being in front and us coming back from it, because I think that'd show a lot more character and stuff from us. Yeah. Whereas if we take the lead and you pull it back and we get beat, I think that'll demoralise us slightly. So, prediction, my friend. We do this every week and I get it wrong every week.
You got the Rochdale one right.
I got the Rochdale one right, which means now, because we're only in round 3. We played about 14 games. I mean, I'll go first if you want. I mean, I genuinely think there'll be a nil involved, but I'm not sure where it's going to be. And I know that sounds slightly ambiguous, guys, but I think it's going to be tight. I can't see there being any battering either way. So for me, I think it's going to be. I think there's going to be a 0-0 or a 1-0 in it. I can't say which way. 0-0 obviously explains itself, but 1-0 could be after what we saw against West Brom. I'd like to think that we could sneak one. That'd be brilliant.
I think we've got to score first. I think if
I would agree with that.
I think if Boro scored first, it'd be a nightmare. A bit like the Preston midweek. I know it's a different
because
team,
we'll soak pressure up, as you said, and we're good at that. We are really the nuts in this league at soaking. We're sponsored by Varleader next year, I think, because of the sponging. I would hope so. Anyway, Varleader watching.
For me, like you say, it's going to be a packed house, and if for example, your defence has got it and we press and you start to make mistakes, the crowd are going to get on it, and I think it could be a good night for Leeds. But prediction-wise, 2-0, but if Boro score first, I would start to worry. But yeah, I'm going to go with 2-0, Roof to get a brace.
Okay, well, enjoy the game, all right, my friend. Everyone who's going, enjoy the game. Get behind your team, whoever it is. Obviously, Boro, positive, massive following. We're class away. And let's have a barnstorming game. Yeah, well, you know, I'm going to say now, you've got a great bunch of fans yourself. You know, they might not all be from Leeds, but you know, that's the one thing Boro have definitely got. But no, listen, it's been a pleasure, Joe, and hopefully we can have a chat later on in the season. So I mean, I've been foxy as usual, but just before I go, I haven't got your prediction, Roberto.
1-0, we'll score first.
Right,
David, prediction.
Thanks for taking that.
My brother said 4-0 Leeds. Got another AJT on his hand.
Right, well hang on, I'm not good. There's no one here with me, but David, what's the Boro score?
9-0.
He's gone away. So listen, guys, thanks for tuning in as usual. I've been Foxy, it's in the blood. Peace out, whoever you are, wherever you are, just to quote the Midnight Caller. And let's hope that we all have a great game all night. It's a great result for us. So take care, guys.
Thanks for having me, BoroFanTv.
Take care, Joe.
All Leeds TV. Make sure you hit like, subscribe and all that jazz.
Yes.
Nice one.
Do the same, guys. Peace out.